Hello, Sean here. I'm going to try a little something different here. I'm going to be recording a video while I'm doing barn chores. The idea being here is that since I'm finding it really difficult to set aside a time just to record videos, I'm going to look at the idea of, okay, can I take care of doing a video while I'm also doing barn chores? So I'll be off the camera periodically, but still here and using my mic there, so you should have me good. This is the mic that somebody took care of the mic cover for me and the clip for those months instead of having it sit over there where it would have been toast if it had just been sitting there. So what I'm actually doing here is filling hay nets for the horses, and use 2 of those a day, so always need plenty of them. The topic I'm interested in talking about today is one that really had not been on my radar at all. And yes, radar, you'll find that I use a lot of nautical related terms. I grew up in the Southeast Alaska commercial fishing fleet. Family owned a 40-foot wood-hull power trawler. It's a great life, a hard one. Things have changed a lot up there, though. So, really had not been on my radar at all. And that is artificial intelligence. It's, in my line of work, I'm an engineer, and I deal with very technical topics, air quality engineering specifically, and that's an area that even most engineers don't want anything to do with. It's almost as bad as masonry, which is what I did my master's thesis on. But get exposed to AI there, and it just becomes incredibly obvious of how much it really messes up. It seriously messes up in a dangerous sense even. So it really hadn't been on my radar to even consider that AI could be used for anything other than really more games. Playing games with stuff. And then it came to my attention that people were actually writing witchcraft books with it. Spell books, and even worse, guides for herbal medicines and everything. And that's just flat appalling. I mean, you can still tell AI images quite often by the wrong number of fingers, tentacles instead of hands, missing arms or multiple arms beyond 2. So now think about writing what is a technical document, really, for herbal medicine. And that is just, you got to be joking. But unfortunately, apparently no, people are actually doing this, and they're not being upfront that that's how it's being written. So, sorry for a little grunting noise here. These are 90-pound bales, which aren't tremendously heavy in the world of hay bales, but I'm also closer to 60 than I am to 50. Well, so that just, first one that got put this on my radar was Joanna, the Polish witch, which she has a very good YouTube channel. But I've also seen it since with Grumpy Old Crone out of England, She also has a very fun one. And it's something you need to be aware of. Really take a look. And the problems that you hit. Well, right off the top, the information can be wrong. In fact, if it was written by AI, it essentially is guaranteed that it is wrong. It might have a fair bit correct, but it will have errors. And those errors, well, maybe there's minor little items so stuff doesn't work, or might be some major items, which means that it kills you. So it's be aware. Things to consider for how you can spot it, because a lot of this people are not owing up to the fact that they're using AI. If you've got somebody that has written dozens of books in the span of a year, 2 years, that's not quite believable. I have written technical documents, master's thesis for one, that I found out afterwards was closer to what is done for a PhD thesis. But that took, better part of a year, for all told. And that was not even putting it into a nice, agreeable format, because the audience was engineers, researchers. They don't want things to look nice and pretty. They want things to be very bluntly factual. So, writing takes time. And using AI as a shortcut means that things are not going to be correct. So, other problems with it. Well, if you're trying to follow a specific path for what the emphasis is, well, you end up with a whole mishmash of paths, because AI does not respect boundaries. So it might be presenting, let's say for here in the U.S., traditional Appalachian witchcraft, but it's got stuff mixed from continental Europe. It's got the British Isles, maybe Ireland, all over, because it does not respect boundaries. And because it doesn't respect boundaries, it means it appropriates from anywhere and everywhere. So, it's enough of a problem with that when people write it themselves. AI just makes it a whole lot worse. Why do people do this? Make some money. They're not trying to teach or pass information on. You are simply a means of extracting money. So, yeah. The whole appropriation deal, some people get pretty uptight about it, some don't. I'm kind of in the middle on that. Especially when it comes to cultures and practices. Every culture and practice out there has appropriated from others. We are long past the point of humans being brand fresh on the scene with no predecessors. So every culture out there did take material from parent cultures, and when they ran into other cultures, there was cross-pollination. So really my take on it for the cultural appropriation side is, so long as you recognize it, I don't regard it as that big a deal. I know not everyone agrees with me, and that's fine. So, you do have an appropriation issue, though, in that AI does not originate anything. It actually takes works that are out there and essentially plagiarizes them. So using AI to write these things means that you are stealing the work of other people. So that's a problem, especially because it's not giving credit at all for it. She doubles down on the problem of inaccuracy, because since it doesn't give credit, you have no way to say, well, where'd you get this idea from? Is it somebody credible? Or is it somebody that's actually known to be a problem in the community? And there are some people, and there's some people who are actually pretty popular, especially with the folks starting out, that they just make stuff up to sell books and make money. So, some thoughts there. The big scary part of this, in leaving the ethics question behind, which we can for just a moment. If you're using an AI written book for herbal medicine, herbal magic, it's like juggling nitroglycerin, and not the clear stuff, the straw-colored stuff. Nitroglycerin actually is not that unstable if it's properly prepared. If it's straw-colored, it was not properly prepared. But yeah, you have no idea when it's going to blow up in your face. So that, to me, is utterly irresponsible of the person who's slapping their name on the book. Also the publisher, if there is a publisher involved. It's pretty easy to self-publish these days, so you manage to bypass that step of, does a publisher want their name on a book that is full of bullshit, and potentially get involved in a lawsuit for putting out a book that's full of very dangerous bullshit. So, that's some thoughts on AI and why I think it is a really bad idea. And what you might hear on occasion in the past is there's snow sliding off and smacking down, sliding off from the roof. It is upper 40s here, Fahrenheit, for those of you who use sane and sensible units. But things are melting out. So that's kind of my take on AI, why it's dangerous. And we have enough bad information out there in the community as is. we really do not need to be adding to it. I would say we're going to call this one a wrap. I don't want to get into an extended rant, and I'm trying to find the remote to shut the thing off. There we are. So Sean signing out here, and I'm going to try to get a little more frequent here. I actually do like doing these, but fitting them into an extremely busy life when it doesn't bring in any income stream. Now that's going to be a separate video. I'm going to talk about some things further that I've learned about doing these things and considerations. In fact, I'm probably going to shut this down and then start it up again and talk about that. So, take care, folks.